I know their marriage failed, but Giselle's birth chart has a lot of very important concepts around marriage timing and predictions that I wanted to go over. And I'm just gonna give an overview. So we're gonna talk about her seventh lord's placement, the nakshatra that it's in, the circumstances around how she met Tom Brady, and also the vivaha sahham, which is the relationship point. It's added, you add the first lord to the seventh lord, and I'll kind of go over how to do the math for that real quick, and then also see what was going on with her relationship point at the time that she and Tom met. And then we're going to talk about Chara Dasha because Chara Dasha is actually so goated. I don't know why it's not brought up enough in terms of timing marriage because I have a little spreadsheet of the Chara Dasha that people met their future spouse or got married to their future spouse, and then the rules that go hand in hand with it. And it's so accurate, actually, especially if you combine it with the other dashas. And yeah, I think that's it. I don't know, ADHD. So, okay, let me share my screen. Here we go. All right, so this is my little spreadsheet. It's super thick in the first row because I got like all this stuff about the transits written here. But if you look here, so just this is Giselle's chart. And if you look here, she is a Sagittarius ascendant. So her seventh house is Gemini. And funny enough, the moon is transiting Punarvasu Gemini right now, so there's probably a reason that I'm discussing this marriage specifically. But the seventh lord is Mercury, and usually you'll see often with Gemini being the seventh house, they tend to meet th somehow through friends, because Gemini rules kind of your community, your friends, communication. And then Mercury itself is in the seventh house in Gemini in Punarvasu Nakshatra. So right off the bat, we know more than likely they are going to meet through friends, which checks out. They were introduced through mutual friends. And Punarvasu Nakshatra has a theme to it where it takes 3 or 4 times to get something right. And if you pull up a clip of Gisele talking about their first date, she'll say that they were set up on a blind date and that it was the third one she had gone on. The first two were a failure. She was about to give up, and she went on the third one with Tom Brady, and she liked him immediately. So it's like the 3 times the charm, or sometimes it takes them the fourth time, 3 or 4 times to do something. So that checks out. Now, if we calculate her vivaha saham, so her relationship point, right? Where's her first lord? First lord is Jupiter at around almost 16 degrees Leo. So 16 degrees Leo, this is how you're going to do the math. Um, you can kind of go around and count, make it easy. So each sign is 30 degrees. So 30, 60, 90, 120, and then just add 16. So 136. So I may be Asian, but I still need a calculator sometimes. 136, and then her seventh lord. And then you add the degrees of the seventh lord, which is Mercury, at around almost 22 degrees Gemini. So that's 30, 60, 82. So 136 plus 82, 218. So 218 degrees is her Vivaha Saham, and 218 degrees is around 8 degrees Scorpio, Anuradha Nakshatra. So the point of this relationship point of the point is um when Jupiter or even sometimes the nodes Ketu or Rahu transit the Vivaha Saham, it can activate marriage. Or you meeting a significant, if not a marriage partner, it's a significant relationship partner, which don't mistake significant as meaning it's going to be long in duration. It can just be significant as in it was your first relationship, or they taught you something really important about yourself or about marriage, whatever. 8 degrees Scorpio. They met in December of 2006, which I don't think there was a specific date, so I just put it in the middle. Um, Look at that. Where's Jupiter? At around 10 degrees Scorpio. her vivaha sahham is 8 degrees Scorpio. So that checks out. Even the dispositor of the vivaha sahham, Mars, is transiting Scorpio as well. All right. And so that's another significant relationship indicator. The other times too is when Jupiter is giving the trine aspect. So if Jupiter were at like 8 degrees to 10 degrees Pisces or 8 degrees, 10 degrees Cancer, especially if it's going over the Dadakarka, which her Dadakarka is Sun at 4 degrees Cancer. So Jupiter is also giving the trine to the Darakarka. Um, and it's opposite her Venus. So Mars and Jupiter both transiting opposite her Venus, or were, I mean, when she met. So yeah, that's another um technique. Now, if we look at Chara Dasha, so Chara Dasha is a sign-based dasha. So you may have heard of, Vimshotri, which is like, oh, you're running your Rahu Jupiter dasha, or Venus Sun dasha, etc. And it's based, Vimshotri is usually based on the moon nakshatra. That's how it starts off. Or you can base it on the ascendant nakshatra. There's multiple ways you can start the Vimshotri sequence, but Chara Dasha is based on signs. So it's like and it's based on you predict with it using the Jaimini Karkas. So if you know like the Atma Karka, the soul indicator, the highest degree planet, all the way down to the Dara Karka, which is the marriage or the spouse indicator, it's the lowest degree planet. The general rule for timing relationships, marriage, or relationships that can turn into marriage, so even engagements, but you can be seen with this that may or may not result in marriage. It depends on other factors. Um, but it's when you run the time, the Charadasha of the sign connected to your Dadakarka in either D1 or D9, Venus in either D1 or D9, or the seventh lord, uh, or the sign opposite. The sign opposite is also a very significant one. And we see here that her first marriage happened in Leo Aries Charadasha. And that was I believe they got married in February. Where's Leo Aries? Yeah, February of 2009, end of February 2009. So she got married Leo Aries. If we look in the spreadsheet here, her Dadakarka and her Venus are both in Leo in her D9. So she has Sun, Darakarka, and Leo in the Navamsha. Her Venus is also in Leo and Navamsha. And in Aries, normally you would see like a bit more emphasis on it, but we do see that her seventh lord of D1 is in Aries in the D9, and her seventh house, um, wait, seventh lord sign in D9. Hold on, how did I do the spreadsheet? You know what? I'm gonna check myself real quick. D9. Yes, so her seventh lord Mercury in the D1 is placed in Aries in the Navamsha. And her seventh house in the Navamsha is Aries. So she got married in Aries Charadasha. That makes sense. Um, there are other ones that are even more like blatantly obvious than this. For example, Donald Trump has everything in Cancer. So he has his Dadakarka in D1 in Cancer. His Venus is in Cancer in D1. His seventh Lord of D1 is in Cancer. His Dadakarka sign in D9 is Cancer. His Venus sign in D9 is Cancer. His seventh Lord sign in D9 is Cancer. And guess when he met his first wife? He met her in Capricorn, Capricorn, Charadasha, so the sign opposite it. And his first wife, Ivana Trump, has everything also significant to do with relationships. Like her first seventh axis in D9's Cancer, Capricorn, Venus sign in D1, Capricorn, seventh Lord sign in D1 is Capricorn. Her Upapadha Lagna is Capricorn. She met and married Trump in Cancer, Cancer, Charadasha. So that is how we went over seeing circumstances around marriage, um, the calculation and the meaning of the vivaha saham, the relationship point, the transit that activates the relationship point, as well as Chara Dasha and timing Chara Dasha. So I hope that this was helpful, and I will post soon with something.